lot of my desire with motorcycles and the reason for collecting motorcycles has been not necessarily that I want to ride every motorcycle, but because I wanted to have those bikes. So as long as the name was on the tank and the engine was in the frame and the numbers matched, that meant I was rescuing for posterity that bike. I was born in London, Lambeth actually, in September 1936. So I'm a pre-war child. My father got an opportunity to become a die sinker with the South African Mint in 1947. Previous to that, my father, having been in the army and demobbed, was one of about 20 million who applied to go to Australia. One Sunday morning, my mother and father were in bed and I was sitting in bed then with them, and my mother got the atlas and she looked to see where the ship was going to Cape Town. By ship in those days to Sydney was 6 weeks. By Union Castle to Cape Town was 2 weeks. She said to my father, "Dick, take the job." That's when we immigrated via the Union Castle line to Cape Town. And having finished my schooling with the prime academic qualifications of Standard 8 failed, because being a new immigrant, my Afrikaans was not that good, maar dis nou heel wat baie beter, and I left school and became an indentured apprentice. After the 5 years, I then became a journeyman. My very first motorcycle I bought during my first year of apprenticeship, a 1946 250cc side valve BSA. But I can tell you, a 250 C10 side valve BSA, you can walk quicker than that can go. But I didn't have it that long, maybe just in my first year of apprenticeship, when I then sold it and bought a 350cc Aerial Red Hunter. That was a magic bike. That could go like the clappers. I rode that for some time, and a friend of mine who was an apprentice at the same time, he asked me whether I would buy his Triumph Thunderbird for £20 and give him my 350 Aerial, and that was the start of my lifelong relationship with Triumph motorcycles. I can sit on my bikes in this workshop here, or if I'm back in Pretoria, I don't have to ride them on the roads. I sit on it and I kick the kickstart, it doesn't start. I twist the twist grips and I go vroom, 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 and pretend that I am on the track at the Isle of Man or I'm rallying in the Eastern Cape. It doesn't matter. I feel good. I get off the bike and I get another quart of beer, and thank you very much. That's why I have motorcycles. That's what I like about them. That's what gives me great pleasure. This bike, 500cc, twin-cylinder overhead valve. 1938, the first year that Triumph produced speed twins. This bike is capable, in its heyday, of about 80 to 90 miles an hour. That is the bike I first rallied in motorcycle. These are very rare these days, and I paid what was an enormous amount of money, 6,000 Rand for this bike. And currently, according to Classic Bike magazine, in pristine condition, which this one isn't, it's original but not pristine, they sell for about 20 to 25,000 pounds in the UK. if you can find one, because they are collector's items. They are in the National Motorcycle Museum, Sammy Miller's Museum, and places like that. There are not many in private hands. This one is, and it is not for sale. This is a 1969 750cc 3-cylinder Triumph Trident. They were first produced in 1969, and I think the production ended in the beginning of 1974. Overall, the whole production run was 26,000 bikes, which is not a lot when you consider modern manufacturers probably make 26,000 bikes a day. This is quite a unique bike in as much it's 3-cylinder, the first of the British 3-cylinders, and it would do 120 miles an hour from a standing start as standard, which is pretty quick. This bike will do 90 k's an hour in first gear, and riding up and down the pass from Hazyview to Sarby at 90 k's an hour in first gear is not what rallying is all about. So I gave up rallying the 3-cylinders. Altogether, from what I have here on the farm and what I have in Pretoria and at work, probably somewhere in the region of 60 plus motorcycles. They range from 1934 to Triumphs to I think about 74. I like my Triumphs, and they've given me great pleasure. They haven't cost me a lot of money, but they've given me loads and loads of pleasure.